How you guys doing? Season of Strife is finally here, and I'm going to go over all the different mechanics on Showcase in this season so you can understand what the hell is going on when you first boot up and understand what has changed compared to the previous seasons in Call of Dragons. So let's dive in straight away with the first one. So in Season of Strife, there is going to be Crusader achievements that you, the Warband, and your realm all have to achieve for different rewards for your account. So I'm just going to showcase all the personal Warband and realm first, and then the season rewards after, right? So some of these are actually interesting, and I am going to talk about some of them. So the prestige one isn't too difficult, as you can imagine. This is going to be the currency you're going to be spending in the policies, if you're just wondering what prestige is. But for hitting 5 million prestige gained in the season, you're going to get 2 generational free tokens. So that might be something for you guys to raise your eyebrows about. Now for defeating different Darkling patrols, you can see I've already started doing this on 34. But when you hit 100, you're going to get 1,000 advanced CP, and then it's again 2,000 and then 3,000 on the next 2 milestones. When we go to war pets, capturing different war pets also is going to give you different achievements, and you're going to get regeneration pots. But more importantly, you get a nice spread of 8 times blue, which is tier 3 ranked rewards, which isn't too bad, to be honest. So next we're on the resource healing. So on the map, if you do any sort of resource healing, as well as you can see later down the line, elixir healing, you're going to be going towards this goal. And the cool thing is, you can see I'm already on 20,000, and the way this works is on any content, guys. So if you are using your troops on PvE Darklings or PvP and you're healing through free elixir or through resource healing, you're able to actually complete this. And we're going to showcase that later on a different video, just to separate things on and keep things moving, you know, nice and swiftly. So you can see though, for resource healing, you're going to be gaining a bunch of elixir. And if you do 15 million worth of troops of resource healing, you're going to get an Aedra Amber. And we're going to talk about Aedra Ambers later. So just remember about those when we get to it, right? So now we've got the healing elixir section. We've got a bunch of different rewards. Again, not too bad because you're going to get a bunch of mana. So I'm not going to actually hate on it. So you're going to get a nice bunch of mana again. In total, I think you get 20 million mana if you complete all the elixir healing achievements. Then we're going to the merits. Again, gaining merits through any sort of combat. You're going to get some stars, which isn't too bad. And then at 5 million merits, you're going to get 1 legendary hero token. And at 12 million merits, you'll get 3 legendary hero tokens and another Aedra Amber. So then the final personal ones is just about building on your alliance, and you're going to get some gold keys and a little bit of speed ups just to showcase those. On the warband, this is basically you and any of the alliances that join the warband. So I'm guessing later on, if you join into the next zone, so zone 2, those different alliances might be able to join your warband. We'll see how it fully works, because I'm going to showcase what we can see of the warband a little bit later on in the video, right? But the warband here, for getting 4 bears, you're going to have 2 of these sculptures. You're going to get 3 if you control 3 Thunder Rock layers. If you've got 1 Hydra, you're going to get another 2 generational free tokens. Now, on the Hydra left times 3, you'll get generational free tokens times 3. Then for the Necro Giant and the Magma, again, you're going to get some more generational free tokens. But you can see for the Necro Giant, you're going to get an Aedra Amber. So this is going to be, again, really important, and that's why I'm kind of emphasizing it throughout the video. If you're completing the season and you get 5 million prestige in that season, plus you control the Flame Dragon as a warband, you will also get 5 legendary hero tokens, an Aedra Amber, and on top of that, you're going to go into the best artifacts companion, which we're going to go over shortly. And then finish off the warband stuff. Again, we're going to get some more legendary hero tokens. And then in the overall merits gained, if everyone does some really good push, obtain 200,000 merits with your warband, you can see somehow we got 10.2 million and gain prestige this season. You're going to get a bunch of different rewards too, plus the Aedra Amber again, right? So if we go into the realm now, in the realm, you can see here we have, this is anyone in your server now. So I am in server 48, if you are wondering. Anyone in my server are all contributing to this, right? So this is, again, in our realm, we've got already completed one. So you can see we've got these achievements. So those are all the achievements you're going to get in Conquest, and basically completing those are really, really important because you're going to get different rewards later down the line. So if you go into the season rewards here, for completing 20 of these Conquest achievements, you're going to get a legendary hero, but you can see it's random, right? You're going to be spinning this wheel. It's any of the G2 and G3 heroes at the moment. You can see maybe it gets bigger, who knows? But this is the current reward system. So at the end of the season, you're going to be able to spin this if you complete 20 of the achievements. Then if you complete 35, you're going to get a legendary Ascension emblem, which is allowing you obviously to upgrade your artifacts, right? So this is the main kind of gimmick of the whole, you know, season. And the cool thing about when you're in the new season of Strife, you'll notice at the very top corner is this little new dragon icon. This is the seasonal area. So if you do anything to do with the season, you need to be in here. So you can see we've just gone through the Conquest achievements. Next on the list, as you can imagine, is going to be the policies. We're going to quickly talk about the mastery skills just before the policies. You'll understand why. And then obviously we'll finish up with everything else in this area. So when we go to the mastery skills, you're probably wondering what mastery skills are in the game. Unfortunately, we can't see any mastery skills as of now. You're going to be able to see them once these quests unlock, which is on day 2 of the Augur Stone. So you can see here on day 2, once you complete all of these 50,000 patrols killed, you're going to unlock the mastery monoliths and the protector quests to do that. So tomorrow, if you're watching this video, you probably might see me live around again 8 or 9 UTC in the morning, right? Nice and early, and we're going to be showcasing off the mastery skills live, what is actually in the game. However, the way the mastery skill system does work, of what we know so far, is each of these slots are time gated, guys. So what I mean by that is, on the first one, you can see we get the golden dreams on the Augur Stone. Next, to get the second one, you need to reach the Star of Hope, which is on the Augur Stone progress, and then Silent Celebration for the third, Conspiracy for the fourth, and finally Salvation for the final one. So again, if you go out of this area and go to the Augur Stone, you can actually find them, right? So here is one of them. Again, Secrets of Decay was one, Star of Hope was the next one. So you can see the mastery expansion there, Silent Celebration, we can see the next one again, Conspiracy going into the next one, and then finishing off with Salvation, which is the Necro Giant. That's going to unlock the 5th one and final one, right? So just make note of that. So it's going to be really important, potentially in the early game, on what skills you unlock through potentially the random generator. We don't know until we get it for mastery skills. So that's kind of why I've gone over it now. And if you are wanting more details, unfortunately, no one is basically going to be able to give you any more until basically tomorrow when it goes live for the game, right? Now, to finish off this area, we're going to go into the season policies and then go into these 3 different areas, as you can see on the left side, which is like the season summary book, as well as the rewards that you're able to spend your merits and Idra Amber on. So season policies is really interesting because they have changed it, and it's going to raise a few eyebrows, I must admit, for people. And you can see my approach already. I've gone 3, 3, 3, and I'm kind of maxing out the prestige first, just so it's already maxed out. So any darklings I kill in the future, I'm getting the maximum prestige for it, right? So that's the way I'm going down the route. But we will be progressing through. Obviously, we've got medical healing similar to the one we've got before. We'll just showcase off the daily production for you, and then medical recruitment for daily resource healing. Again, you can see it goes to 200,000. Similar to like before, we've got all the PvP stats. These are all the same. Again, they max out at 5% for each of the different units. Then we're going into the next area where Buried Bones is, and Buried Bones is going to be very important, and this is going to require everyone, free to play, low spender, max spender. You need to max this out because this increases the portion of the revived legions in the Ossuary, and we're going to showcase what the Ossuary is later, and it will make sense to you why this is super, super important. But this is going to max out at 50% proportions of legions revived. So that's kind of a little spoiler of why this is super important for this season. From here, we do have Administration Excellence, which is your warrants, and then Make Way, which is when any of your units leave the city, legions cannot be obstructed by other legions for 30 seconds. This could be really interesting, I'm not going to lie, for PvP, and I'm going to explain that in another video again, because I don't want this one to be too long. Now moving on to the next bit, we've got the same kind of healing areas. This is everything the same, so we've got to the Apothecary upgrade, which is the way I'm going to go. That's 400% elixir capacity limit compared to the reforms, which is giving you 2.5% on the speed. If you go to the bottom, you've got the stockpile days and daily resource healing. Again, at the maximum state, you get 2 extra days worth of daily resource healing if you don't use it, saved up, so you can get a big massive burst off in one day if you really needed to. And then medical progress is just your daily resource healing based percentage of total legion. So this allows you just to heal basically more in daily resource healing area. So now we're going to move into the next and final areas. I'm going to leave this little spoiler at the end because this is where I think a lot of the hot topic in the season policies are going to be. We've got 2 more on the warrants and then military expansion. If you are wondering, we do appear to get a total of 25% legion capacity, which means I think, again, it's going to max out at 300,000 total legion capacity, unless you've got a hero with a skill that increases it any further, right? So that's kind of military expansion covered, right? So now we've got the 3 heals, and I'm not going to lie, they've changed each of the heals a little bit to make them quite competitive to be picked from for different areas. So Benevolence firstly gives you a 50 million Shaman hut capacity limit. So you can have up to 50 million worth of troops in there. You get a daily elixir production speed of 50,000, which is kind of crap. But then they've added some more bonuses at the bottom. So you're going to get Legion Defense plus 5%, the Prestige gained by 10%, and Resource Healing Cost minus only by 5%. So you can see this is still geared to people who want to do free healing. What's really interesting is the giving Legion Defense in this stat, which is actually a really important stat for certain players that just want to survive in combat. So I kind of like the whole way they've done this now. Especially when you go to Healthcare Reprieve, which is the second one. This is aimed to players that aim to do a bit of resource healing and a bit of actually free healing now. So if you're going to mix and match a little bit of both, this one's actually really good for you because you're going to get a daily resource healing quantity limit increase of an extra 1 million troops. So that basically means you're going to be able to heal an additional 3-4 Legion marches, which is really nice, right? If you take this actual talent, you have a 25 million Shaman hut capacity, so it's cut in half compared to this one, which is understandable. But I don't think anyone really has 25 million troops at the moment, unless you're maybe Mephisto. You get a daily elixir production of 20,000, then Legion attack and Legion march speed. So you get 5% attack, 3% march speed, and then 10% on the cost. So you can see here they've actually got a contrast on what you kind of want to do with each of these. So are people going to rate the Legion attack 5% over the Legion defense by 5%? Who knows? Because the final one is, and you can see, Diligence, allowing you to kind of go kind of crazy with the healing from your resources. It's going to allow you to have an additional 5 million worth of healing troops, which is kind of cracked. And your whole capacity limit, though, is the shortest. It's 20 million. So you have to make sure you don't fulfill this capacity limit. But on top of that, you get the biggest reduction in the game. 20% resource healing cost in order for this stamina limit bonus of 50%. So you're getting even more fighting in because you should be generating more stamina. And you're getting Legion HP plus 5%. So each of your individual troops are technically surviving more than other players. So each of these actually are really kind of good and competitive for the right players. I'm not going to lie. If you're one of those guys that, to be honest, wants to go super hard, only use resource healing, and you really want to make a name for yourself, I actually do think Diligence isn't actually a bad choice. However, for the majority of players, either Benevolence or Reprieve is going to be the two go-to directions for the healing, right? So just have a look what you kind of prefer in this, and whatever you do, go for it. I'm not going to say there's going to be one better than the other at the moment, because I don't believe there is, but that defense is really nice. And to be honest, the prestige gain is really nice too, because you got to think, we looked over the Crusader achievements, and you need to get prestige for those achievements. So technically this is helping you indirectly in getting some extra rewards. So I kind of like that, right? So to finish things off, we've got the same kind of healing area. So this is where you get to have daily elixir production or production speed. It will go down quickly, showcasing 100,000. Nothing honestly has changed in these percentages that I'm aware of. Going down to the bottom is the healing or the resource healing rate. So this showcases how many more troops you can do, while this showcases the percentage chance of it coming. I've forgotten, like this scaling. I've forgotten how this works properly. Somebody in the comments will explain how medical recruitment 2 and medical seminars 2 goes on, but they're the same anyway, guys. They're all the same. Now we have rapid movement, which is Legion March speed, which is obviously PvP. Scales all the way up to 20, which gives you 5% extra March speed. And then to finish things off is the final 3. Boom. We've got Light the Beacon, Captain of the Guard, and Bitter End. So Light the Beacon is for rally army damage, and as you can imagine, this one is for garrison legion damage. So this is probably more tailored to the T5 spenders that want to be rallying, doing the maximum damage possible. They're going to be wanting these maxed out going against each other. However, we get to Bitter End, and this is the new take on the old talent that used to be here. So legions deal 5% more damage with a full stop. So this is very important, and I'll explain why. But then it says when both sides in a battle have this policy enabled, 2% of both sides severely wounded units will die. After selecting this policy, you can manually disable it yourself. So the thing about this policy is you can turn it off and on whenever you want to, depending on your opponents that you are fighting against. And the thing is with Bitter End, which is kind of crazy, is the fact that this is a 5% flat damage buff if you're not going against anyone else who doesn't have it, which is going to be one of those ones where we'll see how many people take it, and if there's not that many on the battlefield, it's going to kind of shake things up, because you're literally getting a 5% damage bonus for nothing now. If you're going against someone who doesn't have this enabled, you are just going to directly kill them, most likely, right? So it's interesting they've made it like this. So we'll see how it works and how it defines this season when it comes to the policies. So that is all the policies kind of gone down. Hopefully you've got any questions, pop them down in the the comment section down below, right? But moving on now to finish things off in this section, we've got down here the Ossuary. So as you guys were heard, we can increase the Ossuary to 50% when maxed out. So what the Ossuary is whenever we are fighting in the season of Strife, legions who die in combat with other lords will be recorded in the Ossuary. And at the end of the season, basically what it does is it gets the percentage, so we have 50%, and it takes 50% of those dead units and returns them back to your account in your mail as sev wounds. You just got to quickly like heal them up, right? So it's a really cool feature. This is actually in Rise of Kingdoms, and it's a really good one, but there is some rules on how this works. I do want to make sure you guys understand this, right? So when the season ends, a proportion of the dead legions in the Ossuary will be revived. The Ossuary will record dead legion unit types and levels. The characteristics of the revived legions will be determined according to your faction when the season ends. So what that means is if you were Wildeburg and you had flying units, right, and you might have switched to Spring Wardens, it's still going to give you the correct units. They might be just switched on the unit, you know, depending on the faction you've switched to. So that's what it means. As well, if you migrate before the season ends and your dead legions will be revived the time specified before you migrate. So what I believe this means is if you leave this season to go somewhere else because you found a better server that you want to join, all of your units that are in the ossuary will be revived again just before you migrate, and it applies it to your account. You don't have to worry about it, and then you enter the season. That is how I am understanding the 4th point there. So not too bad at all. So you can understand why the proportion revived here is at 0%, because we need to go into the season policies and increase it through buried bones. So this is a very key point, and if you've been watching the video, props to you, because this is honestly the most important tip of this whole video so far, right? So now moving on to the second most important part, the rewards, right? So in this game, obviously you're going to be able to go to the rewards or season store. It is going to be in this little chest area just above my head, and you can see the merit store, which is going to unlock. And as we can imagine, like we've had before, we're going to have the elixirs, speeder, skills, whatever. Everything is going to be there. We kind of know what the merit store is. However, the Idra Amber. So as you guys know, we've been talking about this with the Crusader achievements and what we've been unlocking so far, right? From the gameplay, doing certain things like healing, you're going to get one, right? So what you're going to be able to do is use them currently in the Idra still, or the seasonal store, and you can buy, as you can see, certain skills for free, and you can buy certain other pet skills for 4, and these are 3-star skills, right? The cool thing with the Idra Amber is when you click on the actual currency at the top, you can see you're going to complete achievements to earn them. And the cool thing is when the season ends, unused Idra Amber will not be scrapped, but will be retained for use in the next season. And this is going to be very, very important, because without spoiling too much, there is going to be another video coming out all about this, what you guys need to prepare. So I will say, if you want to buy a pet skill, go for it. However, my tip and trick right now is to save them, and you'll understand why in the future. So the Idra Amber is going to be your seasonal store that you can be able to buy stuff all the time from, right? So that is kind of the reward section over and done with. The only other rewards we need to talk about is in the warbands, I believe, which we are on the personal ones, right? And it's going to be the artifacts, right? Or is it in this one? Am I being dozy? There we go. So if you go to the artifacts one, to be honest, the artifact system has changed too. And it's actually a really good change to the compendium store. So I'm going to kind of showcase it out in the purple and the blue, because both of them have the identical pool, which we've checked on the live stream. And the cool thing with the Conqueror table now, when you look at the legendary artifact pool that you're able to unlock, you can see Spiritbone Talk is in there, Gilded Crossbow, and Mirage Orb, right? On top of all the ones that are already in the game, which is some of the generational 1, you know, legendary artifacts. What's really cool about this is, as you can see, this is obviously season 3, but these are seasonal 2 artifacts. So they're allowing players, if you get into, you know, the purple, to maybe spin it the 20 times to get the 2 guaranteed legendary artifacts, right? And potentially get an unlock on one of the older artifacts from season 2 that you might have missed out on, which is kind of nice, I must admit. And the benefit though of winning with the Flame Dragon, guys, is, as you can see, the exact same. However, they add in Infernal Flame and the brand new artifact, which we're going to showcase properly a little bit later on, Wolf Howl Horn. So it's really cool that the Artifact Companion does this, and it allows you to get the older artifacts as well as giving you the new artifact of this season so far. So maybe if they, you know, in future seasons or in the year or two, this pool could look completely different for players, which might be a lot more friendlier for free-to-players and low spenders. So I'm going to have a little bit of hope in Call of Dragons. I'm not going to lie, they could do a big turnaround here. So now we've kind of gone through now everything here, we're going to just showcase some final bits and bats of the season, right? So I want to showcase the map off, because the map is really interesting, because how it appears to work is whatever zone 1 you are in, you're going to be able to fight left or right of yourself, and even if you lose that zone, you're still going to be able to progress into the content in this season and try to push into the final zone before getting invaded on from enemies, which is kind of interesting, because as you might have noticed, above my head is a returning, I would say, community favorite, but it's not, the Back Boys. And I did have a little bit of worry about this when we were talking about the, theory crafting and assumptions of the map when we saw it in the preview screen, but they are back and they are exactly the same. You're going to be gaining hero stamina, recovery speed for completing and winning your statue in this zone. So really kind of cool on that factor. Most of the areas, if you look, are kind of empty without spires. However, the final zone, I did count earlier, has 16 spires in total, but there's tons of terrain, tons of bridges to go through. So to be honest, this could be the Flying Lovers map. So we will soon find out when we try this out in the future, right? So to finish off now in this video, I want to kind of go through the event screen, what's currently on Showcase, as well as what you can spend on, obviously, in the new season. And that's kind of a nice way to summarize everything that you're able to do currently in Season of Strife, right? In the nice timed lapse video, right? So the event, you can see you have Riches of the Forest and Wheel of Destiny, and I must admit they have done a good job on these events now, because the Wheel of Destiny, for anyone that wants to work on any hero in the game, is there for you, and I mean that. So what I mean is the rewards for this is completely customizable, guys. So you can pick any of the heroes in the game, including technically blues, even though you don't need to, even epics, but you don't need to. But you can pick any legendary hero in the entire game to be on the Wheel of Destiny and try and spin your luck. With that as well, the Riches of the Forest is exactly how I thought it was going to work, and it's not a bad solution at all. So the way this works is, again, you get to pick 4 artifacts of your choice in the pool of artifacts, and currently you are having the ability to choose 11 different artifacts in Call of Dragons. So I'm going to showcase my current pool. This could change in the future of this video, but it just gives you an understanding of what this event is going to do now. So what you're able to do is pick, as you can imagine, 4 artifacts that you kind of want. Once you pick the 4, so if I get rid of this one for this one, maybe I get rid of Spirit Bone Talk for this one, so I go triple Archer and try and get the new, Wolf one, which is the thing. You can see it's allowing me to do that. And the cool thing is, if you win, for example, say you've got a level 4 Gilded Crossbow, you only need 1 more, and you get it really early on, you're able to actually click on this button again and just switch on the fly from the ones you've got. So if you really need to work on any artifacts, you can do that in the new Riches of the Forest. It is probably only for spenders still, because it is very costly in order to do so. You can see I can get the first spin free, which I'm going to do just for you guys, just to see if we get anything. We don't get anything, like, as you can imagine. But it's going to cost you a ton of gems in order to do this. But for spenders, it's really good for you, right? I just wanted to be honest with you guys there, right? With that pretty much sums up all of the changes in the quest lines here. We're going to go and showcase Proving Grounds just to show it's the same 15 community heads. Behemoth Hunter is the same, and we are going to talk about the Behemoth itself a little bit later on towards the end of the video, those that are interested. But to finish it off, in the spenders kind of category, when you join the new season, you are going to get a purchase payback. You can see you're able to get up to 12,500 gems. We go all the way down, Depending on how much gems you unlock, you're going to get these rewards. And the next category is going to be these ones. The next one is this rewards. And then the final one, which is another 7,500 gems, is going to give you 10 tokens. But because it's season 1, they've kind of given us Blaze of Glory again. So it's kind of interesting that we're able to get this bundle again. It's pretty good. If you've seen this before, you should know what it is. I will shout out to Kirito here if the chat wants to boot up correctly, because Kirito did send, as you can see, all of them. So if you want to know what each bundle is for the big spenders watching this video, here you go. I'm going through each one. You can see 2,500 gems. This one's the 5,000 gem bundle. This one is the 12,500 gem bundle. And the final big boy golden one, the 25,000 gems, that is your bundle. So if you want to check any of them out, just pause the video, happily have a good look yourself, just to keep things moving swiftly onto it. As well, just to tell any of the spenders in there, if you have spent on any of the gems, just remember all of this will reset. So if you've made the first purchase, they get double the amount of gems. They will reset so you can get them all again, just as a heads up. And now let's get into some more kind of fun things. So just to showcase it, we was fortunate enough to unlock Urag, and we've got him skill 2 already. We're going to obviously work on this hero maybe a little bit later on. He's not on my top priority list because I don't want to play cavalry. However, there should be some footage on screen of Urag and Tobin, again courtesy of Kirito. Big shout out to you on the live stream for helping me out, and it just showcases what their skills are going to look like. So if you want to know what their animation of their rage skill is, there you go for you. If that sets the deal on if you want to buy them or not, there you go. But Tobin, I wasn't lucky enough to get him, unfortunately, guys. We only did 40 spins, but in the 40 spins I was able to unlock Urag. And I was kind of lucky, I'm not going to lie, guys, and I was able to get, if I can find her, Kanara, I was able to get 10 sculptures on the Kanara too. So that's why I got 2 of the unlocks. I was hoping to get the Magrat. If I was getting the Magrat, you could see I was able to happily level her up to get a 553, but I wasn't able to do that, right? So that is pretty much all of the hero side of things. If we go actually into the artifact now, just to finish off the, this whole category of Season of Strife, we have, you can see, the Mana Stone Hunter. So this is something I, for some reason, was completely oblivious to, and thank you to the comments for literally making me go, duh, to this. So this is generating a Mana Stone. So that is literally the stones outside the behemoths. So you could potentially get your own, rune stone for maybe research speed, training speed, damage, who knows, which is kind of cool if you ask me, as a kind of, free to play PvE/PvP style artifact, like a utility one. Kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. But the new one, Wolf Howl Horn. Jesus, this artifact is cool. I'm not gonna lie, kind of jealous. It has one of the coolest animations in the game. What it does is send a group of cavalry from your march to the other marches. It deals a ton of damage. In total, it is 4,400 damage to them in physical, right? You can see it says direct damage, no diffuse on it, right? And then you apply Tremble for 3 seconds at max level. And Tremble is kind of broken because they cannot move, they cannot launch normal attacks, or even cast a raid skill. So basically, they are in full lockdown and the hardest CC possible in the game, and it's called Tremble now. So they have kind of a nasty skill here. On top of all of that, guys, the artifact as well does a bleed effect to the target, which deals 600 damage at maximum level over 3 seconds. And this is whenever a cavalry hero launches their skill. And this is every second for 3 seconds, right? So you can see we're getting cavalry, unit attack, and defense. This is going to max out, obviously giving you the, 60-odd% or 40-odd, 50-odd%. I can't remember off the top of my head worth of stats. But honestly, for cavalry players, not bad at all. At all. Really good artifact for everyone there, right? So to finish things off on this final part of the video, I do want to just showcase the giant. So the giant is here, and if you guys didn't know, just to showcase it off in the frame menu, the giant frame honestly is a little bit lackluster. I wish they did change it a little bit more, because all they've kind of done is recolor the skin of it. And you'll understand why I'm a little bit upset about this, because the thing is, with this Miasma giant layer that we've got, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the more intricate, raids the thought about in the game, that actually requires a lot of teamwork compared to the other ones that we've had in the game, and everything is completely different from the giant. So I'm hoping maybe in the future, maybe the devs watching, why not just change the 3D model, design a new behemoth, get a new frame out there, and maybe anyone who unlocks the Miasma giant frame can have it as a prestigious one-time unlock until this is, kind of a filler unit, if you want to call it, until the 3D model. But the giant is going to be really interesting. I am going to make a full video on this too, guys, on how you can complete this raid so far without even playing it, and from what I've understood in its abilities. So now we've gone over everything, that is gonna be Season of Strife. I've kind of gone through pretty much all the information that we know of today. If you want to know about me, we are in Season of Strife at the very bottom, and we are in Division 3001. You got Division 68 to 18, 90, and 48. And if you're wondering what the matchups are, as a quick answer, you've got OKS here on this bottom side with DK in our server, and we're allied with GNGA as well as LNV on the top side. So it's basically East Coast versus West Coast Bloods, right? We've got all of the boys in, and then on the other side it's AMZ, AMZ2. Basically it's all the AMZ alliances, it's all one family, which is really interesting to see. I've not heard of them, so it's gonna be really cool, because some of them have got some massive players that will showcase in a video on its own. And then on the bottom side, we've got WP, and some people will remember GG, the one and only from a previous season we was even a part of. So nice to see some familiar faces in our season. So that is going to be the video, guys. Smash like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and all the coverage that we've done for Season of Strife, the Calling of Courage, I believe, for the new season of Call of Dragons. I've gone through everything you need to know so far that we're able to see day one in a nice, swift, smooth video. So until the next one, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.